It's drilled to left field. Is it high enough? See ya! A walk-off grand slam, and the Yankees win.
And he drives one to right field over toward the line. Long run for Laureano, and he runs it, and the Mets win the ball game.
It's not the Burrows. It's no good takes. Giuseppe Oliveri, Bunk, and Mike are not here. I'm still learning StreamYards. This is my first time actually successfully recording on StreamYards, and I was too afraid to delete the intro when we started. I didn't know if we were just going to lose it forever or if they were going to have to make a new one, but I don't know. So I just said, let's keep it in. Why not? Let's get people excited. Sorry to ruin your expectations. It's just me rocking the Chick Hicks Road Hazard shirt. Oh, yeah, baby. You know what's up. But here we go. No good takes 11, and we got a lot to talk about because unlike our last two episodes or so, the Mets and Yankees are giving us baseball that we can smile about, sit back about, and say, are we back? We could be. Maybe not yet. But let's not pump the brakes here. Giuseppe Oliveri, no good takes, plenty to talk about. You can see I even learned the banners down here, down low. Very proud of myself for that one. But let's start with the New York Mets. They come back in their largest comeback of the season so far, down 4 runs with just 6 outs to go. And a pair of Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso 2-run shots get the Mets right back in it. Juan Soto brings home the go-ahead run in the top of the 10th, and the New York Mets hang on by Huascar Brazoban, giving a perfect shutout bottom of the 10th inning with that ghost runner on second and nobody out. But this is a big win. This is a big win for the New York Mets, and if I'm being completely honest with you, this might be up there for like top 2 or top 3 wins of the season because, yes, you love to take 2 out of 3 from the Brewers and beat up on Mizorowski for the first time he's been at the major league level. You'll love to beat up on the Yankees at home, the Subway Series, looking for a little revenge. Juan Soto has himself a good series. And now you go to Baltimore, the struggling Baltimore Orioles. And your main goal right now is to not just win a series, not just sweep, but most importantly for team morale, to show that you're actually back on the right track. You don't drop the opening game in Baltimore. You just can't. Clay Holmes has been one of your best pitchers so far this season. He's been struggling to go deep, and he did it again last night. Couldn't go too deep. But this was your opportunity to really beat up on a struggling Orioles team that are not good and show that you are back on the right footing. And what do? You go down 6-2 way early. And all of a sudden, pump the brakes, Mets fans. I was preaching to the choirs that we are back for the last week or so, and all of a sudden we are as far from back as you could possibly be. And then you come back, and then guess what? The Mets are back again. It's as simple as that. But this is the first time in a long time we're not just seeing the Mets Fab Four, as Steve Cohen liked to call them. I'm not a huge fan of the name. I thought Fantastic Four was there for the taking. I don't think that you need a patent or a copyright to take that as a little cute nickname for the Mets. But the Fab Four, whatever, it's going to, Core Four, that worked also. But I guess, hey, Fab Four, it's a little pizzazz to it, whatever. But, they all come around in huge ways. Pete Alonso with the clutch home run. Francisco Lindor, a clutch home run. Brandon Nimmo, a clutch double, brings him back into score also. And Juan Soto with the go-ahead hit. That is 3-hit game for Juan Soto, and he has been a man possessed as of really the month of June on from now. And this is finally the Juan Soto that we are getting. But let's start with this Mets core, this top 4 that was really supposed to be the main headline, the moneymaker for the Mets all season long. Well, the beginning of the year, you did have guys like Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso come around in huge ways, and they were really carrying the load of this team while the pitching staff did their thing. And then all of a sudden, June came around. They got a little quiet. Francisco Lindor had a very, very tough June. Pete Alonso, still a good June, but obviously came back down to earth a little bit. We knew he wasn't going to keep up the production he was doing the entirety of the year. But then you got guys like Brandon Nimmo really step up, a really good, quiet June that nobody was talking about. Why? Because you had Juan Soto be the player of the month, the player in the MLB, and he didn't make the All-Star game. But we're not here to complain about that. That's already been complained about. But you finally have all 4 of these guys now coming together in a huge way. And you have Francisco Lindor, who you were afraid was losing some steam in the leadoff spot, gets dropped down to the 2-hole, and he's been hitting much better. Brandon Nimmo, who has been hitting amazing from that leadoff spot. It's a place where he belongs ever since he got called up. Pete Alonso is coming back around. And when we see Pete Alonso slump, we see him chase like it's nobody's business. We haven't seen that in a while. And then Juan Soto, who has been the best hitter in probably all of baseball since the month of June. And all of a sudden, you got all 4 guys rounding up. Okay, that's great, but you still got to fill some other spots here. I don't know 9 minus 4 off the top of my head. I wish I did. Let's do the math. 5 other spots that you got to go out and cover. Ronnie Mauricio with the home run. Ronnie has slowly but surely been coming around. I have his stats really quick. Ronnie Mauricio, in his last 9 games, 357 batting average, a 1045 OPS, only 3 extra base hits, but 2 of those are for the long ball. So Ronnie Mauricio slowly but surely coming around in a big way that the Mets were looking for. Brett Baty also, another 2-3 hit game for him last night. I think 2 hits for Brett Baty. And he's coming around also. They both give you outstanding defense, whether you want to put him at second or third. And who would have guessed it? It feels like hell froze over. The odd man out right now is Mark Vientos, the guy who is giving you less than stellar defense, who you were really just banking on to be your DH this year. He has done everything but hit. And all of a sudden, the deadline is approaching right after the All-Star break, and you have to have the conversation of, can you move Mark Vientos? Will you move Mark Vientos? Because I really do believe out of the 3 little baby Mets you got right now in the big leagues, Francisco Alvarez, whatever, I think he's safe, obviously. If not, the Mets won't have a catcher for a very, very long time. You have Ronnie Mauricio, Brett Baty, Mark Vientos. Okay, let's go by categories here. Who has the best power? It's probably Vientos when he's on. Ronnie Mauricio has outstanding power. But from what we've seen in the major league level, what you can do, we've seen Mark Vientos, we'll give him the check mark there. Hitting for average. I mean, this year, you got to give it to Brett Baty, although nobody's really been an outstanding average hitter. Ronnie Mauricio, probably the best, but in the sample sizes we've seen from them this season, you give it to Brett Baty. Sure thing. On the base path is a big one right now. Mark Vientos is slow. Brett Baty is average. And Ronnie Mauricio, who was once in like the top, I think, 15, probably top 10 percentile of sprint speed, he has really dropped down after the ACL injury. Obviously, you expect that. But he's good on the bases outside of that mishap in the Subway Series where he thought the ball went over DJ LeMahieu's head and he got tagged out at second like a bumbling idiot. But now you go to defense. Mauricio, good defense. Baty has been great at third. Who would have expected that? And then it's Mark Vientos again, not making costly errors, but not making the same plays that these other 2 guys have the ability to make. So you go to the deadline right now, and guess what? If Mauricio can really just turn it around, start hitting, he has not been good righty, but left-handed, he's been phenomenal. Brett Baty as well has been really good at times. You have your third baseman, you have your middle infield, because then you can play around with Jeff McNeil, who's hot and cold at times, but really McNeil is still another very, very, very trusted bat, especially when it gets to October time. So you got to see what you're going to do with him. And then you have the outfield. McNeil can slot into the outfield. Nimmo and Soto are your 2 corner guys. You're probably talking about getting a center fielder at the deadline if you can. And all of a sudden the Red Sox are super hot, so we'll have to see if they want to sell. We'll get to that later. But you still have guys like Byron Buxton is a fun conversation that Mike and Bunk had a few weeks ago. And even if not, Tyrone Taylor, not your guy in the postseason, but Jeff McNeil can be. And we know that he can play the outfield. We know Brandon Nimmo can play center field. It's not as much of a worry as it was a couple of weeks ago, or really the entirety of that month of June, because now your guys are coming back around. But still, you still need to see more out of your baby Mets, out of that bottom half of the lineup to really be confident in what you have. But as of right now, as we stand, you got to feel good as the Mets. You survived your worst stretch since probably the beginning of last season, but even still, this was a longer and more dreadful stretch than the beginning of last year. This really eclipsed the 0-5 Mets greatly. This is a June swoon to be remembered since probably 2015. I mean, when the team was at least competitive. And now you are slowly but surely coming back into it. And I said a few weeks ago, the Mets were going to show their true colors when they had to go to Atlanta to their House of Horrors. And you were a team slumping, and you had a get-me-right series against a struggling Braves team in a place where you don't play well, but this just felt like a new season, and you got swept. And now the Mets stumbling, getting out of June, finding some wins, stringing them together. You had a chance to show your true colors again and see if anything changed, and it did. Your guys are hitting. Your bullpen has been sneaky good. The Mets bullpen, oh yeah, they have been coming around greatly. Reed Garrett, he loves to walk his batters. He loves to let up a hard-hit single every now and then, but he has slowly but surely come back into it. Huascar Brazoban, we just saw him last night close out a huge game. Edwin Diaz is an all-star. He's one of the best closers, if not the best closer in the MLB today. And you go up and down this list of guys who have been stringing it together, who have not been able to really find it over that last month or so, and they're coming back. Obviously, you still need a lot of help at the deadline in that bullpen. This is not a bullpen that is going to go and win you a World Series. That is not breaking news. I still don't know if this is a rotation that is going to go and win you a World Series. Obviously, you have Sean Manaea and Kodai Senga lined up to be in Kansas City, but still, you have a lot to work on with this team. And I don't know if you can trust the health of Kodai Senga. Sean Manaea coming back, pitching about half a year with a fresh pitch count, barring no setbacks, barring no injuries, is a huge, huge advantage. Because remember last year, Sean Manaea, the Mets ace, when you got to the NLCS, he just hit a wall. He got outpitched. Not outpitched. What am I trying to think of? The pitch count was too high. His arm got worked, and he just hit a wall. And you're not going to have to worry about that this year if you're the New York Mets at a deep playoff run if you make one. Obviously, the injuries will be in the back of your head. But in terms of the pitch count, you feel great. And you're going to need that, especially for guys like Clay Holmes, who the pitch count you can see is getting to him. I can remember the last time he made it to the sixth inning. And then you have guys at the deadline you want to talk about. Luis Severino has been a name thrown around a whole lot coming back to the Mets at the deadline. That would be phenomenal, outstanding. You'd love to see him back. I mean, Sandy Alcantara, you still have him. Or is it Alcantara? I don't know. I hear people say it different ways. He's a guy who has been a mess for Miami, but we know the Mets pitching lab. If they really want to take a risk on him, you can really, really, really buy low on Sandy right about now, even though the Marlins are hot, but we're going to talk about them later. And the list goes on and on about guys. Do you semi-trust? Do you completely trust? We don't know. We're going to have to find out. But as of right now, if you're the New York Mets, you got to feel good about where you are. And, you have Francisco Lindor, who is coming back around a little bit. Pete Alonso, he's still hitting for power, still hitting the home runs, which is outstanding to see. Because usually around this time of the year, you see Pete Alonso fall back down to earth, and knock on wood that he doesn't. But as of right now, as it stands, he's a man who is going to get paid. And you would love to see that if you're the New York Mets. I mean, maybe not a lot, because still really undesirable age, bad time to be in your prime, whatever. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other time. But the New York Mets in a very good position right now, going for another series win tonight against Baltimore. Honestly, you got to be thinking sweep if you're the Mets here. I mean, you just need to be thinking sweep. You're heading to Kansas City, and then after that, it's the All-Star break. So if you could win, the goal was to go, 4-2? But, I mean, if you go 5-1, somehow sweep Baltimore, take 2 out of 3 from Kansas City, you feel like you're on top of the world, a perfect place to go and take a break, get to the All-Star break. It's much nicer to go to the All-Star break on nice, solid ground than stumbling and trying to tread water. And speaking of treading water, that's what we thought the Yankees were going to be doing, but they have strung together 2 straight now. They took the final game in the Subway Series at Citi Field, and then they came alive in a huge way against the Seattle Mariners last night in a 10-3 victory, and the bats came alive. Aaron Judge, a couple of hits, 1 long ball. Bellinger, 3 for 4. This guy is him. I mean, come on. Giancarlo Stanton, a couple of hits, a home run, 3 RBIs. You just keep on going down the line. Jazz Chisholm, Paul Goldschmidt went 3 for 4 as well with a couple of ribbies. Austin Wells with the home run. And Oswaldo Peraza. Oh, yeah, baby. We know you, Oswald. We know what's up. Did I say Oswaldo? Man, Oswald. Anyways, you have a lot of good things if you're the New York Yankees right now. A lot of good things to be looking at. I mean, Austin Wells is somebody that you felt like you needed to get going, and all of a sudden he is picking up the power in big ways. Jazz Chisholm, since coming back from injury, has been outstanding for the New York Yankees, and he is finally back in the second base position. And, Yankees fans, talk to me. How are you feeling? This has got to be one of the best feelings, not the best feeling all year. And it's so weird because nothing changed. You didn't go to the deadline and pick up a big acquisition yet. But the fact that you have DJ LeMahieu out of that spot and you have him out of a lineup right now, and Jazz Chisholm is back in his normal position. Let's keep in mind here, at second base, he's a +3 defensive run saved. At third base, he was a -3. He got better at third compared to last year. Don't get me wrong. And in terms of the fundamentals, I thought he figured it out. But to finally be back at second base, and he's reaching down, and he's making the play, and he's spinning a little bit, that feels good to watch. A second baseman, your middle infielder, move like he should be moving. And no disrespect to DJ LeMahieu, none at all. He was the best hitter for the Yankees when they were going on those deep playoff runs in the late 2010s, right before 2020 hit. Even then, But, the magic is gone. Father Time caught up. Rockies legend. Never forget. Batting title with the Rockies. Oh, yeah. But still, you got to move on. Who's going to want DJ at the deadline? Probably nobody. But still, he's out of your lineup. He's out of your hair for right now. You still have little to no production coming from third base, but at least you're getting better defense all around the infield. And let's be honest, what Peraza is doing is no worse than what DJ LeMahieu was doing. So that is a big solved issue for the Yankees. Aaron Boone, I think it took you a little too long to figure that out, but you waited out the DJ experiment as long, not even experiment, you just came back. You waited out DJ as long as you could. Things have to change. They did change. And finally, you can say that DJ LeMahieu is not the New York Yankees second baseman for most likely the rest of the season, barring any injuries. Knock on wood. We hate to see anybody get injured. Okay, so the Yankees looking really good. You know who else is looking really good in the pinstripes? Will Warren, who needed a huge bounce back game. He went 4 innings on July 2nd in Toronto, let up 10 hits, 8 runs, all of them earned. Yeah, he needed a big bounce back. So what did he do against Seattle? He went 5 2/3, 4 hits, no runs. None of them earned. 4 strikeouts, couple of walks, whatever, got the win. That feels good if you're Will Warren, especially with the Clark Schmidt news and this rotation that feels taxed, and you're having more and more spot starts as you get closer to the All-Star break. And finally, Will Warren can just come in. He'd say, guys, relax. I'm him. Let's go and win a game. Because let's keep in mind something here. The Yankees' bats have come around. It's not, I have offensive explosion back here on my little thing as you see it scroll by, my little ticker. But the bats have been coming alive for the Yankees. It's not like this is anything new. It's just that the pitching has been so abysmal for New York. You haven't really noticed it. And you haven't been able to sit there and take it in and say, yeah, the Yankees' bats are good. No, they always have been. Obviously, they've been hitting slumps and struggles, and Aaron Judge has been the guy carrying it for a little bit. But still, it's finally nice to see the pitching lock it down. They let up only the 3 runs to Seattle, and Cal Raleigh, of course, has to hit a home run the same night Aaron Judge does, as he is now 3 home runs away from the pre-All-Star break record. I think, Seattle's got to have 5 games left. So that'll be interesting to see if he can do that. I would definitely love to see him do that. A new home run king would be sick, especially one who didn't juice up, but to do it as a catcher, as a switch hitter, as a guy who was clean, as far as we know right now is clean, would be cool to see. But anyways, the New York Yankees in a very, very good spot, you feel like, not even if they lose tonight. If they lose tonight, then everything feels back to square one. Let's see who's going for the Yankees tonight. I got to see right now. Yankees versus Mariners. Let's see our little preview tonight. Oh, you know what? There it is. Because the New York Yankees, as of right now, are in a spot where they can come back around. That's not the question. That's not what you're asking yourself right now. But, Cam Schlitter on the mound tonight. Is that his MLB debut? Wow, it should be a fun one. Nice. But the Yankees right now are in a spot where you feel kind of good. Obviously, you're 9 games over 500. You're 3.5 out of the AL East because the Toronto Blue Jays have been a team possessed since the month of June, basically. But still, you feel like you're in a decent spot. The deadline is creeping up, and if you're the Yankees, you can't wait for the deadline. Go and make your moves. This has to be a year you make the moves. I saw Talking Yanks or Talking Baseball talk about Josh Young from the Rangers. That's an interesting move at third base. Sure thing. Why not? I'm on board. Suarez over in Arizona is going to be a really big one to see what goes on with that, because let's see how the Diamondbacks stand right now. They are 5.5 games out of a wild card spot. They are 3 games under 500, and they're a mess. Let's not look right now, but the Marlins are creeping right behind them, 2 games back of Arizona. So that just shows you the kind of position that the Diamondbacks are in right now. I think they should be sellers at the deadline. I don't see a world where they come back in a stacked National League, because how it looks right now, you have the Mets and Phillies. One of those 2 teams are going to be holding the top wild card spot. They're both tied in the NL East right now. Then after that is the Brewers. They've been amazing so far, 8 games over 500. And then the San Francisco Giants, who are slowly but surely falling off. But as of right now, they're sticking around. The Padres, you really think they're going anywhere? The Cardinals and then Reds. Yeah, so I think the Diamondbacks could jump those 2 teams. But you still have 2 other teams to get past before you make it to that final wild card spot. Sorry to get off track, but still, the Diamondbacks should be heavy sellers. The Yankees should absolutely be inquiring about them, and we're just going to have to see what the Yankees want to do. All they got to do is make it to the All-Star break right now. Then you can reassess. The Yankees, you feel like, do this every year. They stumble their way to the All-Star break. They have a nice, relax, breathe it in, and then you go and shoot, boom, out. August has to be your month. July, rest of July has to be your month. Whatever. It usually is for the Yankees. But as of right now, how the Yanks stand, they have got to be feeling at least somewhat decent about themselves. Not even great, but just better from what it's been so far. Okay, so the New York Yankees, as it stands right now, 3.5 out of the AL East, great. And also one last little tidbit for our New York Mets here. How good do you feel that you're winning right now? The rotation has been doing its part, and you have Minaya and Senga on the way. You got to be feeling pretty darn good. I didn't get that in before. Whatever. Okay, let's get to some league-wide news here around the MLB with the New York Mets and Yankees talk wrapped up. The Blue Jays, winners of 10 straight. Yeah, they are hot as it can be. George Springer is not an all-star. I don't know how. I mean, guys like Julio Rodriguez getting in the player votes and the fan votes. And, I feel like we talk about this for every single sport. All-star voting is broken. Maybe not in the NHL. Pro Bowl, who cares about? So actually, it's just between basketball and baseball. And actually, I feel like we haven't heard about basketball a lot. So maybe it is just baseball. But the All-Star voting is broken. It is a mess. I mean, you got to have some of the writers or the analysts, whatever, vote some of these guys in, because you have people like Juan Soto and George Springer who are not in. Cody Bellinger. Jazz Chisholm made it in. Nice for Jazz. Happy to see him there. But the Blue Jays have been red hot, and that really does bring up an interesting question right now. Because how the AL East stands right now, you have the Yankees, who are 3.5 games back of the Blue Jays. The Tampa Bay Rays have been struggling, 3-7 in their last 10. They are 5 games out. They are 2.5 games back of the New York Yankees, or 1.5 games, excuse me. And the Red Sox, all of a sudden, 48-45, 8-2 in their last 10. They're a game out of the wild card. And all of a sudden, you got to feel pretty good about them. They've come out of nowhere. But you got 4 teams right now, all of a sudden, in the conversation, not all for the division title, but for the playoff races at least. And the Yankees are playing catch up to the Blue Jays, who have really come out of nowhere. And then you got to remember the Tampa Bay Rays. They were red hot, and they felt like they were a team that was just not going to lose. And all of a sudden, they've come back down to earth. It was expected of them. It's not like this is a miracle run over for the Rays. You still feel like they are going to be an outstanding team. They'll be there to the very end. So the Yankees, who all of us thought were a runaway team in the American League East, I thought they could have been a runaway team in the American League. We don't even know if they're going to finish top 2 in their division. I think that the Blue Jays will have a much harder fall from grace than the Tampa Bay Rays did, but still, you're 3.5 games back of the Blue Jays right now. The Tampa Bay Rays are still on your tail. These are 2 teams right now that are going to be battling out. And, there is a world where the Yankees don't hold that first wild card spot. And it's kind of crazy to think about, but we'll have to see. We're still a far ways away. I hate to play, I hate to play the future looking man. I hate to play hypothetical world, but it really is interesting. And another interesting thing for the New York Yankees, if you do win your division, you still got to be a top 2 team in the American League. And how it's looking right now with the Astros and the Tigers, the Yankees got a lot of work to do, got a lot of ground to make up. And they'll still be playing a wild card. The difference is that they will be home, and that's huge. I've heard some people say that it doesn't even matter, but the home field advantage, especially in the Bronx, especially for a shortened series, is a huge advantage to have. So, the New York Yankees got a lot of work to do. We'll see what happens at the deadline. We'll see if they can pick it up. All right, some more league-wide news here in the MLB. The New York Giants. Oh, I can't wait for football. The San Francisco Giants walk-off 3-run inside the park home run against the Phillies of Philadelphia. It gets the Mets back even with the Phils at the top of the NL East. And that is just a brutal way to lose. And it is an electric way to win. That might go down as one of the best moments of the season at the end of the year. Probably won't mean anything for the Phillies if they win the division. Probably won't mean anything for the Giants. They'll be somewhere in a wild card spot. But still, that is a fun win to have. That's a devastating loss to have for the Philadelphia Phillies. And let's just check on those San Francisco Giants and how they have been doing in their last 10, because they always feel like a mess. 6-4 in their last 10. Winners of 4 straight. Let's see right now. A lot of losing going on in the MLB right now. That might be the longest win streak. No, that would be the Blue Jays at 10 straight. We just talked about that. I'm an idiot. Tigers at 5 straight. Boston Red Sox at 5 straight. That is who we're talking about next. All of a sudden, they were buried, done for, but a series against the Rockies can get you right, unfortunately. My Colorado Rockies, who are not eliminated from playoff contention yet, might I add you. So all of a sudden, the Red Sox are 8-2 in their last 10, winners of 5 straight, and they have a run differential of plus 36 all of a sudden, and they are 1 game back of a wild card spot from the Seattle Mariners. So Yankees, damned if you do, damned if you don't here. You can win a series against the Mariners, but that probably puts your rival Red Sox right into the thick of things in the wild card. So that is definitely an interesting playoff race. That is a team that I thought that we were ready to write off in the Red Sox, but here they are. They're making it interesting. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I am saying let's just keep an eye on them. All right. What else do we have here? Can we talk about the Miami Marlins? I mean, are they back? They are 17-7 in their last how many ever games that adds up. Is that 24? I can't do math. I don't know. I'm not a math major. Here I am sitting here talking about sports alone in my kitchen with my dog behind me. Can you even see or no? I'm wearing a Chick Kid shirt. I'm 20 years old. You think I can do math? Get the hell out of here. But the Miami Marlins, man, the swim fish swim. They are here. Let's look at some of their numbers. They are 7-3 in their last 10, winners of 2 straight. 42-48, and don't look now, 7.5 games back of wild card spot. You know what? I've seen crazier things. It's funny that I talk about the Diamondbacks, about how little I believe in them, but I believe in the Marlins. They are better than the Braves right now, which is freaking awesome to see. The Braves are bad, by the way, which as a Mets fan is just weird to say. It makes me really happy to say. And I really do hate to show Mets bias on the show, but it just feels good. You know, it just feels good to see the Braves be bad. Can I say that? Can I be happy? Can I confidently say now on July 9th, 2025 that the Braves won't be in a playoff spot? Yes. Yes, I can. If that comes back to bite me in the ass, I don't know. Then hell is frozen over and God is really listening to me and he says this is what you get for being prideful. Whatever. Happy to see the Braves suck. Happy to see the Marlins are not the worst team in the NL East. I mean, still could be at the end of the year, but whatever, not right now. And a little last bit of some league-wide news here. The Dodgers 0-5 in their last stretch. It is another rough stretch for the Dodgers. They are weird, man. Every time I hear the Dodgers, I'm either hearing about them going like 12 straight wins or 5 straight losses or something like that. But we had a Shohei versus Mizorowski. Shohei goes deep. Shohei strikes out. Shohei walks. That should be a book. Sounds like a very good book right there. But anyways, this is definitely a stretch where you're just going to bat an eye out and say, nah, whatever. It's the Dodgers. We'll see you in the World Series in October, November, whatever. But that is just about everything we got for league-wide news. So let's get out of here with some winners and losers. So my first winner here is somebody I put in the loser category last time out. The guy who got banned in Arizona, if you remember him, for reaching over. He was part of 4 straight fan interference plays in 4 straight years. It's remarkable. It's a legendary run. He went to the Giants-Phillies game, I believe, and he had number 24 on the back, and it said home run thief on it. He got banned from Chase Park, by the way. He can't Chase Field, by the way. He can't go back to Arizona this year. Next year, the ban gets lifted, but he's just enjoying life. Let's go to San Francisco. Hey, well, I'll see you in Citi Field, maybe. That'd be cool, right? I'd shake your hand, autograph. I'd apologize for putting you in the losers, but I make up for it by putting you in the winners. And by the way, red, white, and blue beads for the 4th of July, but hold on to these like all episode. And this is a good feel-good story for the guy. Banned from one ballpark. You still got 29 others to choose from. Let's go have some fun, will ya? All right. Loser of the week. I don't know if you guys have seen this video, but on the golf course the other day, this is an ex-hockey player, apparently. I don't know his name. I didn't really see. And, you know, these guys got to be drunk. And they're going up to this ex-hockey player, and then something happened. They were fighting before the video started. And this little guy, it's like, you ever see the South Park episode with Bat Dad, and the South Park kids are playing summer baseball, and they want to lose so they don't have to play the rest of summer baseball? and Randy Marsh keeps on getting into the fights with the dads. That's what this was like. Because this poor little guy, who was about half the size of this big ex-hockey player, is getting thrown around. He's getting punched once or twice before going to the ground. But damn it, he keeps getting up. And he keeps coming back for more, just eating these punches. Why? Why are you eating these punches? I don't know. Is it a pride thing? Do you think that maybe you can land one shot? Are you just trying to get something for court for the assault? I don't know. But man, that is definitely some loser activity there. Lick your wounds, man. And I think both of these guys were drunk because the ex-hockey players got him right here. And every time he's punching over the top, bam, bam, bam. He's saying the word bam. That is hilarious. Or bang, whatever the hell it was. And he just kept on going down. But that is so freaking funny to me, man. So that is our winner and loser of the episode. Only 2 here today. So that's going to do it for the No Good Takes podcast. I apologize. I came in with the Burrows intro. We'll have to work on getting a No Good Takes intro. I don't know how to do that. Bunk probably does. I'll talk to him about it. But that is going to do it. Episode 11 is in the books. July baseball is alive and well. We're in the dog days, my friends. So definitely keep your hopes up, energy high. Remember, it's a long season. And the June swoon is over. Can't stress that enough for our Mets and Yankees. But my name is Giuseppe Oliveri. The New York Mets play baseball tonight. The New York Yankees play baseball tonight. What else could you ask for in this beautiful thing that we call life? And remember, I'm just another bumbling idiot talking about sports with a platform lucky enough to do it. Go check out the Burrows with Mike and Bunk. Go check out the Bunker with just Kev, mic'd up with just Mike, and Gabe Zoda doing fantastic things with the playbook as always. Oh, and also the Hardline Sports Talk podcast with JM and Michael Merlo as well. Jeremy Horowitz will be joining me as the newest member of the BTO family. Can't wait to get him on No Good Takes with me, and that will do it. My name is Giuseppe Oliveri. Have an outstanding rest of your day, and I will see you the next time I see you.